Hundreds of hours, late nights, blood, sweat, and tears. Built not bought, a dying breed.
Welcome back to Airworld and welcome to episode 9. So in episode 8 we built this container, we put the drawbar on it, we put the axle on it, and as you can see it hasn't moved since. But that doesn't mean to say we weren't busy. So down the road is the site where this is going and the new shed is going, and I've been busy digging that out, pouring foundations, breaking myself, putting up blocks, and you'll see all that in this episode. But just I suppose a recap as to what the plan is. Okay, so the plan is that this container will be on one side of the shed. Shed itself is going to have a big arched curved roof, and it's a large area that I can work on vehicles, bigger projects. The container then will have my workbench, have a bit of storage, have a drill, a milling machine, possibly a lathe. And one of the issues you'll see is that there's a nice slope on the site, so that's why I've had to take a long time making foundations and making a support for this side of the shed. So we'll head down the road now and get started. Enjoy the episode, and if you like what you see, click subscribe and you'll get some more. Thanks a million. So this morning the real ground war starts. The greenhouse is coming down, the polytunnel is going to be moved, and we're going to start digging the foundations. The heavy armour arrived last night, ready for the ground offensive, and early this morning we ejected the enemy from the greenhouse. It's almost clear, ready to go. So, busy few days, had a few lads in, didn't do a whole pile of filming, but so got a new roadway laid with the white membrane underneath. Also laid a duct for future proofability in case you need to run water and power, and that's the yellow tape, and that's the rope coming out of it. And then so we got the greenhouse taken down, we got the polytunnel moved, got all the footings dug. So I have the sight line set up. We have steel in the foundation. We're not going to go all even flow on it with the expanded metal, but we'll see. We might use it in the foundation, although someone has already commented, where did that go to? So there's a big clean-up here around the corner. Stone seal is in, but I still have a few jobbings to do. So these vertical bars here are my levels. So because this site is on a huge slant, my foundation has to step, and so I have to set up kind of blocking pieces in places where it steps. We have a small bit of water, not uncommon in Roscommon, but the experts have told me that it's surface water, so it shouldn't be a problem, but I have an idea of some drainage. So the next stages are finish tying the steel, then concrete coming, 9 meters ordered, that'll put in the foundation, give that a couple of days to set, and then we're going to build some rising walls that are going to bring the levels up. Then we can backfill, try and make use of some of the stone and other rubble that's around the place, but ultimately a couple of loads of maybe 4-inch stone. Also incorporate the foundations for the container, which are these two short ones, and then I have left steel sticking up, and that is for the the pads for the uprights of the shed. So kind of unfamiliar territory, but I'm enjoying it. Something different, learning a few things all the time, and yeah, keep you updated. So, one thing I have learned is that this here is not the way to tie steel. Okay, so I'll just, the Google University showed me, so give me a second. We have our kind of T-joint here. So we get our bit of wire, we fold it around. Okay, so you might have just thought that it was just wrap it on like that and twist it, but it's not. There's a much tighter way of doing it. So you wrap your top one around the vertical bar and then around the horizontal bar. So it's a bit like the rabbit goes down the hole, but anyway. And then you got your two wires here. So it's gone around and under. And then we just get our pliers. And when you're turning it, you pull it towards yourself. So, or away from myself. In this case. Okay. Chop away our excess. We have a good rigid joint then with the wire. Okay, so we are finally almost ready for concrete. So the trenches are dug. I've got some rising steel here where I'm going to have the columns for the shed. So there's 4 of them, 1 in each corner. Steel is tied. The string lines here are just for my centres. I'll take them down now in the morning before the concrete arrives. The wooden boards then are the different levels. So I'll just stand back here. So if you look at the van there, look down there, the whole thing is on a slant. So that you don't have to dig a lot of material out. You can step the foundation. So the front trench here is going to be the highest point. Then we drop down and then come to another one. They're like little dams. Drops down, and then these scaffolding boards here in the corner are my lowest point. Step up again. That's going to be the run there for the container. You can just see some wooden posts there. So another step up, and then another step up to the front. So how I managed all that was, obviously I've got my laser level, and but on my stick here with my laser catcher, I have my different levels marked out, and I've called them A, B, C, and that's important, I suppose, for the next step. So the next step is going to be that I'm going to use concrete blocks to build up what they call rising walls. So they'll build up and we'll be level with the front, and then once the rising walls are built, we can backfill the center of the foundation and you could pour that floor, but I'm just going to wait till the roof is on. But you build up your walls, level everything off, and then I can take this big heap of stuff, which I'll have to kind of sort through a small bit because it's full of stones, but the stones can go inside, they won't be wasted, and then I can slope that back to the field. So that is the plan. But the concrete is coming in the morning, and hopefully I have plenty of preparation done, so there will be no panic. It's going to be the Tuesday morning after bank holiday, so I'm not expecting them at the crack of dawn, but could be surprised. So do some video of that too. Now, the madness is over. Why is concrete always so stressful? So, now, we had a bit extra than what I thought, so I ordered 9 meters. He came with 8, and instead of having a step here, we filled it all. We filled all that corner as well. So, we'll just turn off the level. But yeah, all good. My steps worked out spot on. Probably using the 20mm board. I was a little bit nervous of that now, but nothing spread. So 8 meters of concrete, probably at 150 euros a meter. But it's going nowhere. So bit of block work back here for the container, and maybe 4 inches there to raise it up. Okay, so it's been about a week and a half since we poured the concrete. This morning's job is to take out all these little forms, to re-establish the lines so that we can set out the location of this wall that has to go here. So have some blocks delivered. So the plan is to use 6-inch 150mm blocks in their flat to form a rising wall here and here. And again, back up the way here, not too high here, here and there. And those 2 pads will form the location for the container, while as the rest of this then is just forming the base for the shed. Once we have our rising walls in, we can backfill in some rubble and some fresh stone to bring it up to the level, because if I go down to the back corner here and I look up towards the old garage, the existing garage, we're down quite a bit. You could say even the height of myself. So while I don't want to bring it up to that level, I don't want it down this low either. So yeah, let's crack into it. Now there's a mix on. So I started a bit of the block work here, and I'll just go through what I did before I go a bit more. It's grand morning here, but we did a lot of rain. You can see that there. Bit of water held there, I suppose. The block work ain't too bad. So it's 6" on the flat. So I got my little corner post here that I can set up my my lines off of. And then each time I step up, I set up a block. I plumb it with the line above, which is kind of like the master line, and then that yellow line becomes the line for my blocks. So I have another step up to do here, another line of blocks here, which is going to bring it into this small little step up here, which you can just barely see. And I got the whole thing square by doing my 3, 4 and 5 off this corner. And then what I did was I came over to each corner, I built up some blocks just dry to mark my corners, and then I was able to measure off those corners and do my diagonals. So from there to that pile of blocks there, not the big one, the small one, and from that pile of blocks there back to my wooden form. So once my 2 diagonals were equal, we're square. So nothing for it now but the back-breaking work of laying blocks. I tell you, my hat goes off to block layers. They earn their money, so might as well get to it. Now, things I've learned about mortar. I thought I knew a bit because back when I was a teenager, my dad did 2 houses, and my favourite clay tile was the concrete mixer. Not even one as luxurious as this one. But anyway, the key to it is the water. So, too much water and it's like shite. Too little water, it all sticks. So, I got myself a smaller bucket. So, a tiny little bit in. With this Bell cement mixer, generally it's as much sand as you can get into it. Well, not as much, sorry, as much sand as comfortable, and then half a bag of cement. If you want, you can add it half, again, quarter bag at a time. Tiny little bit of water. Maybe a tiny bit more. And then for block work, the key to the whole thing is your plasticizer. So there are instructions on the can, but generally not that much, a couple of cupfuls per mixer. That's our full bag, half bag of cement. Don't forget to dispose of your rubbish responsibly. Or in my case, don't get in trouble. Cement bags lying around the place. And I don't think it needs to be said, but under no circumstances be tempted to put your hand in there to see how things are going. Because that thing is geared to turn a wheelbarrow full of sand around and around, and it'll twist your arm off. So right now we're kind of approaching the right consistency. You can see it's not 100% full, so there's no need to go mental. You can always put on a second mix. And if you look in right at the back there was a bit sticking to the back of the mixer, but that's all starting to mix together now. And that seems like a nice consistency. You can tell by the way it's falling there now. But I'm going to put in another shovelful or two of sand just to thicken it up a small bit.
Very interesting for people out in the burgeoning artificial intelligence field. However, now when we look back at what the 23
66. But yet, here we are at a third semi-final and fourth tournament for Southgate, and nobody's quite sure if he's any good at what he's doing.
Savings with this week's Super Savers. Pick any three Irish barbecue meats and €1 on Lidl Plus for first family feast. Plump up your plate with baby plum tomatoes, 37% off, and $1.99, and sprinkle on. Including specially selected Black Angus reduced fat 6-ounce burgers was $3.79 and only $2.99. Plus, specially selected Black Angus.
Now, this is the block I've been waiting for. There's a fella I used to work with on the roofs. It's the last one. So, I've been thinking about this for a while now. Because let me tell you, if you have problems sleeping, do some block laying. If you have problems with anxiety, do some block laying. If you have insomnia, well then just lay 6-inch blocks. Because I guarantee you, you will sleep after a day at this crack. I can guarantee you, absolutely. No hassle. Okay, now that I've got the ends of the form, 4 ends of the form bolted to the wall, I need to cut the large pieces of plywood to make up the sides of the form, the biggest parts. So I need to straighten up this ply first, and in an ideal world a track saw would be beautiful for doing this job. I don't have one, so I just find myself a straight piece of timber. I'm going to measure the relief I need to allow for the distance from the saw frame to the blade. I'm going to measure that out. Then, using the straight edge that I have on the board, the good straight edge, I can parallel my timber to that straight edge and use it as a guide for the saw. And check it plenty of times to make sure it's right. Measure twice, cut once. Not cut twice, measure once. Then I'm going to clamp the straight edge to the board. Check it again. Then use my second shitter clamp. There you go. Now with the side cut to size, it's time to add some reinforcements so that the plywood doesn't bulge or bend. So I'm marking out some holes, I'm going to pre-drill them and fix some screws to some battens to strengthen it all up. Now, with that other panel on, it's time to go back to the workshop. Make some bolt cages. So with everything cut and drilled, this is what the bolt cage is. 2 pieces of angle with holes, with 2 spacers. When all that's welded up, I'm going to fit on my threaded bars. That's going to be my 4 bolts for holding down the shed. Watch your eyes.
will support transition here with everything and stuff that went from last year. Anyway, always have to do those much more important matters. So, country's first e-scooter rental scheme launched in Wexford in conjunction with Bold. Some of you may have used Bold Bikes, the Bold Bikes in Kenny and some other places as well, and they've been brilliant. But what would that's for the future IT support. You're both very welcome. Thank you. Ernest, good to see you, Colin. So you're kind of less enthusiastic about e-scooters, is that fair?
E-scooters are really not fundamentally the same. The movement, the way they turn corners, you've got slight differences in visibility. So e-scooters, you're higher up, so you can be seen typically more clearly by cars. When you fall off an e-scooter at lower speeds, it's less likely that you're going to fall over and damage yourself severely because you're not stuck with it. This is an opportunity now, Joe might agree with me, to fundamentally change the way we police and regulate people on
to solve a lot of urban transport problems, and they work very well in cities. The problem with rental scooters, I think you'll find, and any Irish people who travel abroad in Ireland, have people noticed under 16s on these scooters out on our roads recently? They're still there. It's as if the guards, or certainly some of our guards, is not working hard. It's the big example that people give.
Now, been a lot of work over the last few days that you can't really see, but basically each box you've got your reinforcing bars coming up from the bottom, bent over so that they're not going to affect the level of the concrete, and then I've got two rods that go through two heating tubes there, just sleeves really, stop the concrete getting on the bar. That squeezes the form together. So I was talking to a formwork guy who has a lot more experience than me, and the biggest danger is things just splitting apart because of the weight of the concrete, even though this is the smallest box, but there's a bigger one behind me here now. And then we've got our bolt cage, which has our threaded bars going onto some angle iron. Then we've got our replica base plate on top for measurement and for keeping everything square. And then this frame here has movement in it so that I can set exactly where it needs to go, and once I'm happy then I can put in screws in the side. I've got my lines set up, so basically there's a line along here, there's a line along there, they are parallel, and then there's a line at the back which is at 90 degrees, so the other two lines, and then all I need to do is do a diagonal from that side to that side, and from there to there, and that should square up everything. So as you can see, you've gone to a good bit of trouble, probably more trouble than I need, and to be honest, I'm days into this now, so probably way over elaborate, but we are going to mix some concrete and pour it, and we'll document that and we'll see how we go, and hopefully that's this step finished, hopefully. And now it's the day after. I didn't do a last video because I was absolutely horsed, but the ton bag of sand is empty, the mixer is clean, and I'm just down here having a look, see how things turned out. So I've got my 5 pads poured. Have to say things worked out pretty well. Nothing bushed out of place. The tie rods seem to work. The way of securing the bolt cages worked, so once I had them in the right spot, I secured them with 4 screws. Diagonally, they are within a millimetre of each other after a bit of faffing around, but we got there. And yeah, you can see my string lines there to keep it all in place. I have to say, in the absence of a concrete poker, the SDS drill on hammer action only in a block of wood did the finest. You could see you see in the video there where all the air bubbles are coming up and everything is settling. So that is the end of this phase, and that is the end of this episode, which got drawn out over the best part of 3.5 months. But yeah, looking back on it now, would I do it again? It's hard to know. Like, there's a big fall from what's nearly ground level there to nearly 800 below it there, so there wasn't a whole lot of options. We've only a small little road there, so I didn't want to be bringing 20 and 30 loads of fill down. I didn't want to pay for 20 or 30 loads of fill, but I have to say this is a very physical phase, a lot on the ground, and I'll be glad to be above it. So listen, thanks very much for watching. We'll be back to a more metalwork phase the next time. So the next time we're going to fill this gravel in. We're going to bring the container from up the road on its wheels, back it in here. That's where that's going to go. And then we're going to start finishing the steelwork and painting it and putting it in place and making this more shed-like and not a garden with a little wall around it. Okay, see you next time.